as playing an entire league with each other, or even just having nearly as long of a history as so many of the teams that are in the top
Yeah.
level of North American PUBG have. There are so many unknowns in battle royales already, and so when you thrust an extra factor of brand new teams, brand new players into things, it does. You do need to give the teams a little bit of slack when you look at some plays of them being confused or just unsure of where exactly you need to go. However, that's not how you win these games. You've got to go 100% committed, try and find the information that you can. But even the top level, you're not going to know everything, and so you got to be trust on your teammates as well as your own gun skills to get yourself out of tricky situations.
I mean, let's put it this way. Yes, the people from PCS, the teams from PCS are dominating the top 8 for the most part. That said, there's got to be some leniency, right? I mean, the teams that are coming up from contenders, they had to play through this sort of round of 64. They had to play tons of different teams, go through a bunch of different groups, only 2 days of play in each one. Whereas on the opposite side, the guys coming from the PCS knockdown have spent the last month honing their skills against the likes of Luke 12, Taggleton, and much of the OCE, and that has made them stronger and better. has made I can't go through with it. Has made them stronger and better, and really you can see them using that here in this scenario. So their adjustment has been powerful, and it's been good to see. The question is, Pros Don't Snake is the only team on the right side of that board or outside the top 8 that is PCS material. What do they have to do to get themselves back into this?
Just take fights. Again, please just take the fights. That's really all that you could say. How do you get points? Kills. And how else do you get points? Placement. But how do you place higher? Kill teams to get higher. It's I don't know. Am I underthinking it? I think it's pretty straightforward math. And I know execution isn't very straightforward. It's significantly easier said than done, which is why I am here and not currently in the server. But as far as game plan goes, I don't think I'm the only one who could say this, but I'm just a little disappointed on the lack of PDS's willingness to engage their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the last one. I mean, yes, they hung low and they sat in that sort of little shack and they got themselves deeper in the game, but there was just not really additional payoff, right? The placement differential, if you get yourself from 8th to 4th, is marginal compared to being able to sort of find a way to wipe a team or get a couple extra things on the board. And I think they're going to need to rack up those points. That said, we did learn from Rarity in that last game that every team is only one massive performance away from being in the top 8. Rarity moved up to 6th place with 32 points there. Now, to put that in perspective, 4th place Liberate is 34. So it's not that unheard of. Like, the teams on the right side of the board are still largely in the 20s. So one win plus a couple of kills, just like that, you're right back in it.
Exactly. There's only about a 21-point gap between 1st and 10th place. Problem is, we're almost halfway home. And not only do more games mean wider gaps, and whenever you see any sort of drop-off like that, or just a leaderboard in general, it also means fewer opportunities, and so you don't want to leave it until the last second before you start to go big.
Mm-hmm. And this is the last second. We've got one more day of play tomorrow, but you don't want to go into the last day of play with sort of, a cloud hanging over your head. You want to go in with confidence, knowing that, hey, even if we start off bad, we're not that in so bad of a situation. The teams in the top 5, particularly actually the top 3 right now, they're going to be very comfortable going into tomorrow, and they'd love to pad it a little bit more, but we need to see some of these teams push up and get a little more aggressive. Liberate in particular for me, Cameron. I know I should be happy with 4th place and 34 points, but I'm not, because I know that they are capable of so much more.
I think if you take into account a little bit just their struggles of all gelling together at the end of the group stage, then I think, maybe you could say you'd be happy with it, but I agree with you. I think content is fine, but we are still waiting for that moment where everything finally does come online, where everything is finally unlocked, where the potential of this roster really finally comes into play. And with the circle like this, with them holding out dead center, this could be the game that allows them to do so. We saw the plane path in this first circle. Haven't talked about it too much, because ultimately it is largely uneventful, nothing too wacky here. The plane was straight down the center. No one should be too annoyed. The circle is towards the south. And so if you're Gravity, sorry to say, once again, have to drive very, very far, but Elusive immediately in Hyunny's line of fire finds one, but JJ immediately gets inside the building to not allow that window peek to come into play.
But now it will be an uncomfortable battle here. It is a very big spread. So Honey is on his own as he sort of deals with this. He did heard the jump up from Jay. No backup coming from anyone. He hears the heal, it sounds like, and tries to go for the pre-fire. There's the follow-up. Nice. Honey gets 2. And we'll be very happy with that for Supremacy. This is a team that struggled with placement or wins, I should say, Cameron, but put up massive kills throughout some of the rounds. Seeing them start with a 2-fer to get going, it's good news. That's good news.
Good start, because while they might have been able to get those kills during the round of 16, can't necessarily say the same this time around. Maybe they do need a couple of late game finishes in order to really bump their numbers up to the level that they need to place high enough. Get to that top 4 is what I'm going to be looking for, because that's where the big money comes in.
Yes, the big money. So that said, in Monkey Business, going to be locking themselves into a nice little God compound here as they start their rotation. Monkey Business is, I believe, currently in 15th place, a team that we thought would be a little bit stronger here today, and I'm looking for them to push up. I think this is a team that just needs a good start rotation, and then if they can start to sort of fight out and have a good spot in the late game, will impress all of us. That driving did not impress all of us.
Yeah, that's not very good team synergy there. NHS actually gets clipped by his own teammate and has to go on the run. Even gets tagged in the butt a little bit as a goodbye present.
When you're in first,
trying to put
you
a little
make
pressure
things
out.
harder.
Yeah,
You got to make things
That's
harder
true.
for yourself. They're just being fair.
They're playing on New Game Plus.
Yes, yes, and they have a good compound, so they knew that if they were going to get that compound to themselves, they had to give a chance for someone to stop them. Now let's see. Oh man, the fight has not stopped. Supremacy has been hunting down the remaining 2 players of Elusive. Reknar has found them, and the cavalry is arriving. The motorized cavalry pushes in. They came out the back door to try to get away from the car push. There's the first spray down. It is a drop, so Fizzle will come forward and get the flush out of Vengeance. A little something. Honey is hard pushing. Gets flash. You don't need to speed push this, though, because he's already flushed your man. In that process, they lose Gekkult as well, and will now be 2v1. Feels really.
This is a very, very sloppy push there. Femme Fatale is finally able to find Fizzle, but they should not have lost 2. The first one, you could give a little bit of an excuse for there. They were split. It was an isolated 1 versus 1. Good shots there by Fizzle to secure that. But that second was.
I smell when the first one went down. He gave a call out like one hit.
Meaning he hit him once.
No, right. Instead of he's only needs 1 hit left, because that was a straight up like hard push. That interesting choice. Ultimately, Supremacy comes out alive, so I guess kudos. But they could have done it with 3, I think, instead of 2. Virtue is in a house.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams are just sort of thinking. It's true. No, it's true. A lot of teams are in these houses because so many of them didn't have to move too far and get into the circle. There are a lot of positions to share around Los Leones, and Phase 1 of Miramar is so big as it stands already. We've lost 1 team, so that alone is going to alleviate at least a little bit of pressure of population. And so really it's just waiting for Phase 2, which is going to shift.
Oh, this is still tough, though. Okay, so Los Leones becomes the nucleus, right? But nobody wants to go into Los Leones specifically yet, because getting out, not a lot of fun. The problem is, now the circle can really go in any of those directions. We've seen as many finishes north as we have south, essentially. So teams have to make a hard choice. What do you choose here, Cameron? Do you just go to the side closest to where you already are, or do you try to hedge your bets and go hard south?
I like what Keck and Ascendance are doing from their position of, as you said, going hard south. I don't want to see them go on the south edge, though. Maybe sort of go parallel with Cozy Crew. But for everyone else on the north side, that's going to be such a rough rotation through the terrain they have to drive over. Los Leones might be the only option. Liberate already holding down the area just to the north side. All those cliffs. LPX holding down the east coast.
Come on, Tudo.
Running out of ammo. This should be a free kill right now. Just pop one of the tires and you should be okay. But the shots are not landing for Tudo.
Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Well, congratulations, Pro Stone Snake. Nice rotation. I'm a little shocked. I'm shocked, to be honest. That said, though, I wouldn't have killed that guy. I would have definitely sprayed over his head, so who am I to judge? And he will get by. PDS now has a pretty decent spot up on top of the hill. They can play that South Los Leones location. It's not bad. ELPX, they're actually in between them now. I didn't realize ELPX had that big of a split going.
That's a pretty wide one. I'm don't exactly remember, but I think they had this already taken from before the shift happened. It was just Tudo by himself on the north side, the other three playing alone. But now PDS have the high ground overlooking them. LPX still maneuvering around, trying to figure out exactly how they want to situate themselves here on the east side. They might be preparing for more teams to rotate in, like Send, if they want to take this road up just east of this position.
PDS is in a pretty decent spot for the time being, and really ELPX was not planning on this. The split was great as they were sort of defending that high ground. Unfortunately, PDS just made a really bold move. So you see Tudo going to go around and try to join up with the rest of his team as he gets that Murado zooming over, and he should be fine. PDS doesn't have a lot of cover or ability to shoot. Their one opening will be right here as he passes the shack. But he should be totally okay, as I doubt they're peeking because Caesar will be watching like a hawk. So we do see them start to consolidate. All the teams moving. The south of Los Leones has gone from one or I think about 3 teams sort of in that region to an awful lot. A smorgasbord of colors, if you will.
Yeah, there are surprisingly few rotational damage or kills or knocks or anything at the moment. And Liberate's continuing to hold down this northern side. Halo Senpai a little bit isolated on the west. Not exactly peeking over. It's a position like this that should be putting a lot of pressure onto P4F as well as Monkey Business. But instead, just going to try and take it a little slow, scouting out Los Leones, making sure that no one else is filling just south of them. And Monkey Business is going to be the team to push, play for fun away over towards the far west side. And so now Liberate just need to hold the top of this essentially Hilltop Peninsula, whatever you want to call it, against one squad.
Okay, let's look at our rotation as PDS tries another slick move, and they survive yet again after taking fire on rotation. Dirty Zin gets in with 22 health, will pop off a heal, and look, in the distance, flashing, you can see a refresher. Nothing like having a heal and then walking in and finding just a replacement first aid for you. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. And the shift is going to go in PDS's direction. So Dirty Zin sending it to Los Leones, maybe not necessary for a plan B if that's what they were going for, because their current position overlooking the city is really strong at the moment in this circle. They should have a couple of opportunities to pick up a fair number of kills, not just in the city, but also on the east side. They're shooting at Sovereign from Gravity already, but a number of teams going to be rotating in, and through the city might be their only option.
Ascendants with a decent split on the south side you saw there. KEKW Kiers running on foot. The rest of the team's in cars, and I'm sure they'll pick up Tomas in just a second. But that seems to sum them up for me, is that Tomas constantly looking for a chance, even when his teammates are moving the car. How can I get into a spot to maybe get a pick, maybe get aggressive? And I'm enjoying seeing it. I mean, the reality is this is the only Challengers team in the top 8, but not only are they in the top 8, they're 2 points from being in the lead. This is awesome. I love seeing teams on the come up. Also, you got to feel good if you're simply Matt, right? Because like Liberate dropped you, and then now you're above them in Challengers, right? Like that's got to feel good.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just paying attention to a lot of rotations here. Monkey Business. Liberate did leave, as you mentioned, and now Monkey Business trying to fill in the area that they have now left open, left vacant, able to crawl their own way into Los Leones. And they're the first of a few teams, I think, but a lot of teams are trying to be rotating around the sides and just take the hills and the open fields outside of the city. Still not a lot of engagement, not a lot of fighting because so many pockets that teams can hide in. It's only phase 3. But I'm just worried that if the fighting waits just a little bit too long to stop, it's going to be really bad for so many different teams.
Lipson making his transition through some rocky terrain. Not your favorite car to be doing this with, but better than the van. So I guess there's that. And he'll move around here to the south side. Should be in pretty good shape. No, third place, really, it feels like Gravity is just kind of playing this one to shore it up, get some points, and get ready to go into tomorrow.
Yeah, And especially with a circle like this and just the inability to find an access point.
Yeah, exactly.
For CDS, now Ascendants, someone let these people inside. They just can't do it. Luckily, the Ascendants are trying to go for the fight, so this could be an engagement that they take. But Virtue here holding down the barn.
Right,
A lot of action there. So we're looking out into the blue. Lipson, a lot of damage onto his vehicle.
I think he lost a tire too, so he's going to be going on foot as he continues his strange rotation. The rest of his team trying to also find a foothold in the circle as we wait for the next one to pop, and it should pop up shortly. It is going to be a shift. So the teams that double down on going south of Los Leones pay off some sick dividends. Some stonks.
Yeah, luckily the circle pulls off the city. This is a rough part of the terrain to play around in. Like I said, because there are so few teams out, only 2 now. A lot of these teams are going to have to do their best to break into what is essentially not very available area.
Cozy in another good spot. Last time they had Olympus and lasted till the end. This time they're also in the middle. Let's see if it works for them as they continue to try to hold. They do stop Greta the Great and another member of Orion. Meanwhile, Cap opens fire on PDS and gets the double drop. Ripper hopping out of the car because he's taking fire from Rarity. Throws down some smokes to buy some space, but the nades are in the air. Ripper doesn't care. He's just got to run at this point. He manages to get up over the ridge line. Cancels the heal. Will manage to get it off, though, but Rarity looks like they are raring to go. They want to make sure Ripper is gone before they continue their northern push. There's the spray. He gets the first one. Looking for number 2. Not quite there. Down he goes. Innate just pulls it off by the hair of his chinny chin chin. Had Innate gone down there, he would have been able to go for the double wipe, the doubles flush. Yeah. So that was a big win by Innate.
Now looking back, another fight breaking out. NHS did get knocked onto Clueless. Liberate using that opportunity not to push onto Clueless specifically, but just to get inside the circle using the last bit of the city available to find safe haven from the approaching blue zone. Clueless have a little bit of an isolated area because of this big giant moat, so they can just hold down for now, keep the lines of sight open, take some extra shots if they're available, but it's going to be Prozone Snake that have the first chance of running into Liberate in their new position.
Liberate did have to make some pretty aggressive transitions to get into here, so we'll see how that pans out for them. The bottom of the circle is being very congested. We'll keep you updated as Keck W. It looks like they may be banging it out relatively soon, but still no action in that area. Clueless, remember we saw them fighting earlier on, is making a very nice mechanical rotation here to try to find themselves a little closer, a little better spot in the circle as they move down to, is this a water plant? It's a water treatment plant, right? Sewage treatment? What do you think?
A few of these on Miramar. Something to do with the water,
liquid
or
of some sort,
the plumbing of the city. Yeah, sanitation.
Oh, nice. Super goes ahead and gets the knock on back. We see Hambino moving in aggressively. This is where Cozy was hunkering down. So they got to come into the plant and get them dug out. This is what happened last time. Remember, Hambino came up. The team pushed Mount Olympus and broke open the door ultimately.
We have another shot at it. Flashes from both sides, it looks like, or at least both sides are being flashed. But look at that wrap out around the side by Reno. Trying to find an angle through that window. Hambino is trying to spot it out. And grenades coming out from Tetra as well. A little bit of an angle found.
Let's go.
Explosion's got to do the knock on the NHS.
That was a great play by Tetra as he continues to move forward. They're doing a great job of holding the angles, so using the flashes and the nades to buy time for Reno to get into position, as well as just locking them in there. TC doesn't have a lot of options. They can't jump back out because, remember, Reno went around. Stuck, and not much you can do about it.
Holding down now, waiting for the peaks to come through. Such a hard area to push through right now, but as you mentioned, this round is continuing to close on in, but Nitrogen getting knocked is huge. Vexel with the trade. Still chaos from both sides into this engagement, all through the hallway, back and forth.
God, I'm so glad I'm not an observer right now. Nick 101 trying to find his, where it is! Gets the headshot on the Vex. Peach will go in for the flush. And now it's going to be Reno trying to make a play here. Pops back on the flash. It did manage to blind Nick. Reno sneaks in yet another flush and reloads. It's Battlegrounds, baby, as he slides around the right side. Another flash out. Go ahead.
Trying to go for the peak.
Yes.
Nick 101 holding him the angle on Hambino, waiting to see if the flush does come out, tossing a grenade of his own.
Slick play. He's going to bounce the flash and try to make a move. He looked at the wrong northern jump out, but he was blinded. The flash pays off. And Cozy Crew takes out Hambino and the rest of Team Clueless. Man, that flash was so clutch because he was definitely looking the wrong way.
Timing's a huge thing, but so is utility. And yes, Cozy now have 7 kills with the Annihilation, but it's only 1 member remaining, and there are more teams switching in from the north. You got Monkey, you got Liberate, and you have no cap. The circle's going to shift towards the east side. And on the southwest, LPX trying to hold off a potential push from Keck W. Caesar went down, but he should be revived fairly straightforwardly.
How do you stop Keck W from pushing you? You fall back. You move away because they do not care. And they will come aggressive. ELPX has an excellent compound for the time being. Rarity has the south of the circle. We can take a look inside of this really cool area they added that doesn't get a lot of attention, as circles very rarely favor it and will most likely not do so on the next shift. But Rarity is having a great time down here in the D2 extract. Clean up the stairs, looking to get out of this one. I don't think it's
amazing there.
Yeah, it is.
Going to those side rooms, you get lost for years.
Reno now having to deal with Monkey Business, who snuck into the same compound grouping, but Reno, deficit of his 3 teammates, has to try to hold this one alone, and that is not an easy order. Big Penguin sliding forward. Rest of the team coming in the exact same way that the last breach went down.
Fortunately, Reno does not have his team to back him up like he did previously. Doesn't have a copy of himself to go on a wide flank. He's going to have to hold 1 versus 3. It's been a long enough time between the engagement that, yeah, the boxes are going to be here to give a little bit of a clue for something having happened, but they might not know the full details in the circle. Pulling away from the compound just a little bit could give them incentive to go outside, but I'm pretty sure he's going to run straight through it. It's going to be Reno to be the one on the retreat, trying to find his own way into the circle. By taking this route, could be walking into a little bit of trouble as there's a fight just over that ridge.
There he is. Reno can make a play here. They don't see him. He has looks like snow. He has no grenades. All he has is smoke. So he has to do this with bullets. As he moves forward, Nade goes out and got Winnie from evasion, by the way. So a nice little toss as they defend against the push. Orion does go out elsewhere on the map as Keck W and Virtue are fighting. They have no idea that Reno could play a major role after that fight is said and done. Meanwhile,
yeah, being held up by gravity. It would push over closer towards the west to gatekeep the north side. Now it's just Heller sent by remaining peaks up, but headshot pulls him back down. Now the follow-up is going to fully wipe Liberate out, going out in 9th place. That's going to, I think, going to drop them even further down the leaderboard.
Meanwhile, the Keck W Keers do go out, and then Reno finishes the last man from Virtue. So it went down exactly as we thought it would, and then Monkey Business hears it and eliminates Reno. So while we were looking away, Keck W lost to Virtue. Virtue got backstabbed by Reno. Then Reno got backstabbed by Monkey Business. And now Dirty Zin is laying in a dumpster.
Come on, you have to check the dumpsters. That's Miramar 101. Check the dumpsters. Okay, fine. 101 is check the shacks. 102, check the dumpsters.
I don't want to be mean, but is this not just an allegory for the PDS's play so far?
Yeah, I mean, there's something there. There's something to deconstruct with that.
All right, so they're laying there in the dumpster. He does take some shots, but it's not from PDS. It's from the men up on the hill. They'll load up onto the motorcycle and start their rotation away, and it's going to work out. Zin will last as Monkey Business looks for a different option. They know it's open down here because they saw 3 teams die to control this part of the map. So now it is theirs. No one else is around, and they can utilize this to get a better spot. That said, ELPX has good hard cover, and Gravity has taken the high ground with a very strong flex from their 4th teammate. D-Rich is all the way down at the bottom of the hill, stopping pushes from there. And now everyone else has to come up to them.
This is looking suspiciously like just the last game where they have the high ground. free range just to shoot at everyone. And this time, I don't think there are going to be the same avenues of flanks from whichever team can get close.
Does Deadeye have a voltage?
That's the big question. Does he? I assume he must.
I hope he does. I hope he's still up. All right, so Big Penguin, Marnes dribbles. Oh, he sees the shot. They're going to take it, but Monkey Business is in a very, very tough situation. They actually take the motorcycle back to Dirty Zin. They were gone. They had left for a while, if I remember correctly. And they decided to come back here to try to push up the hill, and Zin still waits for the right moment. Snakes wait until you least expect it.
This could be big. Just as we saw the backstab from Reno wiping out a team's chances, Dirty Zin could be doing the exact same from Monkey. Blue's pushing him away, and he heard the first step, so he knows that it's a free, open crouch walk through very silently, because Monkey Business are so focused on trying to break an opening into the hillside with gravity holding down up above them.
He's just going to hide behind that water plant. Lipson's going to open fire on Monkey Business. He does get behind the lip, and Lipson will go ahead and think, oh, I wish I had a grenade. Don't have it, though. Puts the smoke away, and the guys will continue to move around. Dirty Zin should spot Penguin here in just a second. Will he choose to make a push on it? Will he choose to open fire? He chooses not to. He's going to keep the backstab going.
There it is. He prones down. Easy shots. Gets one, but he gets tagged a little bit. Goes for the second.
We got him.
Gets the full wipe before he gets knocked by Pan kill. So it's the 2 kills plus the extra placement points at the end. A good pickup in those final moments. But now we are looking at the top 4 with Gravity still 4 up, SDR still 3 up, and LPX with 4 in the compound, but not for long because a Crow finds Tudu.
Zin, that was dirty, but it works out. He gets the 2. LPX down 1. SDR loses 1 as Innate gets knocked and flushed by D-Rich. Remember, D-Rich is in a very long split, or was, as his team now closes. Gravity oh my God. Gravity not only controlled a huge part of the circle, but on the last shift, they took it over in spades. ELPX doesn't have any more cover. They've got to try to make a move, and they are being pushed by Rarity while dealing with lead rain from Gravity up above them. Gravity is in a position that if they do not win this, we can definitely say it was a throw. I'll stand up and say that right now. Like, this is their game.
100%, unless, of course, LPX can somehow land some amazing shots in quick succession, but I don't really see the world where that's going to happen without getting immediately traded. 8 kills already for Gravity as well. They're sitting in such a good position. LPX did get the revive on the Caesar, so they're back up to 3. But it's all going to rely on landing those shots, and Gravity aren't going to be giving them too many opportunities to find them.
We got Acro down on the ground. He's doing a little bit of a snake play of his own, happy to let everyone else fight it out. Problem is the second the blue makes him move, D-Rich. Oh, actually, D-Rich is falling back with his motorcycle or his car, so it will open the door for Acro to get a little bit farther in. But again, Milo and the guys from ELPX cannot advance. D-Rich moves into a flanking position, and you can see Gravity just closing it down. There's no access points left. They control literally 4/5 of the circle. Come on, D-Rich.
What? Going for the repeat. So confident down to 5 HP. It's going to be Lipson that gets the full kill onto a Crow and the rest and the Rarity as a whole. But now LPX trying to push out, losing 1. And the rest of the members forced back to heal on Gravity. They know what's up. They know who's left. They know everywhere that is left to be playing at. They're going to push.
It's going. Monster tries to defy Gravity, but there is no escaping Gravity as 12 kills